Hello, Africa. My name is Eunice Tony, and this is eTVGhana's African Women's Voices Show, the show that tackles issues pertaining to women as they contribute to national development. Wow, it's fantastic. You know, I'm so happy to be meeting you again. The last time we spoke was, this morning. A lot of you contacted me via our social media platforms, and you are really ready to have this conversation around hydroxy urea and how it affects sickle cell. We are ready for you as well because my guest is already here in the studio. But as usual, I like to acknowledge our sponsors who are making it possible for us to have this show today. So first on the list is Chana Sheto. Chana Sheto is Ghana's #1 pepper sauce. So those of you who have been to Ghana before, you know we have this very special pepper sauce that we add to our food. Now, we've got various brands. So we want you to look for Chana Sheto the next time you come into Ghana. And those of you who are already in Ghana, you need to also expose yourself to Chana Sheto. Those who are already enjoying it have been making lovely comments about it. Chana Sheto has got her phone number right now at the base of your screen. So give them a call as soon as you can and make your orders. I also like to say a very big thank you to the one who clothes me, Afariwa Styles. I always like to open up my arms whenever I talk about Afariwa because she makes me really feel good and confident. Well, for that kind of dress that will make you really stand out and confident, or for that special occasion, naming ceremony, birthday parties, whatever it is, if you really want to feel good in what you're wearing, I think you need to visit Afariwa Styles. And they're so easy to reach. Their phone number is scrolling right now at the base of your screen. You could give them a call or you pay a visit to them physically. They've got 2 branches, one at Osu and the other along the Teshi Rasta Road at Container Bus Stop. You see Afariwa Styles, beautifully located there. You move in and you find contemporary ladies and gents outfits that will make you really feel good. You could also get delivery services. So when you go in there and you find what you want and for some reasons you cannot take it to where you're going, don't worry, they will send it there for you. Or you could even make a call, tell them, okay, I'm a size 12, 14, 18, 22, I need ABC. They'll just get it done for you. On their Facebook page, they are very active, and that's afariwa.styles. Instagram page, they're also very active. So if you look through what they've got there and you feel like you've seen what you want, give them a call and they will make sure they deliver to you immediately. So we say that we are saying goodbye to all those fashion designers who always disappoint us and make us feel really bad. With Afariwa, you keep smiling, just like I am right now. And oh, my hair has been put together by Awu's Hair. You can also locate her easily on Instagram and Facebook at Awu's Hair. So whatever kind of hairstyle you want, whether braided or bleached, straight, curly, whatever it is, just let her know and she'll get you sorted. So please give them calls or send in comments, to appreciate their work because they are really doing well. These are fantastic women who are making changes across Ghana. So I'm going to be linking you right now to the 60 seconds update where you would be hearing about women here in Ghana and across Africa in terms of what they are doing. Yes, I can tell you that I enjoyed my jollof rice. I know you're saying it. Yes, I enjoyed my jollof rice, okay? And you know what tomato paste I used in enjoying it? It's Lizzie's tomato. Lizzie's tomato mix. Yes, if you've not found it before, don't worry. It's all over the market. Just ask for Lizzie. All right. So before I tell you more about Lizzie's tomato mix, I want to take you over to the side where we get to let you know what's happening with women here in Africa and across the world once you're an African woman. When we return, the show continues, so do not go away.
Ecobank Ghana Limited says it is set to extend financial support with relatively low interest rates to women in the agricultural sector. The acting head of the Women's Desk of the bank, Dr. Laurette Sapon, disclosed this at a one-day agricultural production fair organized by AgriHouse Foundation at Jolo in Accra. She said the partnership with the AgriHouse Foundation will go a long way to impact members of the foundation. The event that was held at the forecourt of the foundation Foundation's premises at Jolu on Friday strategically brought together women farmers and agribusiness players. The name of Nashoko is synonymous with radio and TV presenting as well as acting, but she has been building a strong image as a brand expert with her April Communications company. The impact she has made has accounted for her placement in this year's ranking of top 50 young CEO in Ghana, put together by Advance Media. Nashoko ranked in the 37th position. In a mood of gratitude mentioned in an interview by a reputable station in Ghana, said that she was excited as it proved people were watching from afar. Florence Tomazia Korsu, a young Ghanaian agricultural entrepreneur, has been nominated for an international award. The award ceremony, to be organized by Foya Awards, is expected to take place in Nairobi, Kenya at the end of June. The award ceremony was conceived to serve the strategic objective of retaining, rewarding and recognizing high-quality SMEs in Africa. Florence, CEO of Mazia Company Enterprise, an agricultural packaging enterprise which produces and markets brands such as Mazia Honey, Mazia Tea and Mazia Dried Foods, was nominated in the Agripreneur category along dozens of participants from Kenya, Nigeria, Uganda, Rwanda, Zambia, Tanzania and South Africa.
Ghana's African Women's Voices show. If you just joined us, you really have not missed much, but I'd like to say, yeah, have your seat and just keep your eyes glued to your screen, whether it's your phone or your TV set. I've seen already that some of you are asking about WCW. You can't wait to see who the WCW person is for this week. Well, she's no other person than someone who is very dear to us. She's dear to us because Kubura Diamond has been on this set before, and today she presented her mother-in-law as WCW, and the information she had to put there was really touching. That's why we chose her. So let's take a look at her mother-in-law and what she said about her mother-in-law. She mentioned something particular about her, that there are mothers-in-law and there are mothers-in-law. Her mother-in-law is the best, and she's really appreciative of the fact that she has been with her through thick and thin. A lot of people will say, okay, I'm having a bad time with my mother-in-law, but in her own case, she's so happy that she met her, and she prays that Allah will continue to bless and protect her. So that's Kubura Diamond's mother-in-law, Hajia Mua Usman. Congratulations, you are our WCW personality for this week. All right, so I also like you to still send us someone that you feel is your WCW. It's still not late. We're still in Wednesday. And maybe we get the chance to also appreciate the person right here on air. But to continue with the conversation, we also put out an infographics on our social media pages, which got a lot of you talking because the statistics was really outrageous. On the stats, we have a number of births this year, and that was about 63 million. And then the death of children under 5 years is over 3 million. We also had the death of mothers during childbirth this year to be around over 141,000. So these are the mother and child facts that we have to present to you today on African Women's Voices show. And it goes a long way to show us that the case of infant mortality and maternal mortality, we have to look at it again. It was dropping initially, but it's beginning to rise. And there are so many things we need to do to be able to get this to come to, a lower side of the numbers. And together we'll make this happen. And that's the reason why we've got African Women's Voices show, where we educate you on practices that will keep you healthy as a woman and even keep your family also going. So if you miss African Women's Voices show, you really are doing something to yourself. But the good thing is that we always have a repeat broadcast on Saturday, and we also get you to watch on YouTube so that you never miss an interesting moment. So now I get to introduce you to our guest for this week, and she's going to be talking to us on the effects of hydroxy urea in sickle cell anemia. So welcome, Dinah. How are you? All right, so please, let's let our audience know exactly what you do in the hospital and a little bit about yourself.
Oh, okay. So my name is Dinah Jumabedu. So I'm a nurse specialist in hematology. So hematology basically has to do with blood diseases. Okay, so I've worked with sickle cell since 2011.
Wow,
Yes.
That's a long time.
And mainly pediatrics.
Okay,
So
mainly
yes.
children.
Yes.
Wow. The beautiful thing too about today is that today is a day of the African child. Wow. And it's so good that we're having this conversation and that you are a specialist, when it comes to children. So, it makes everything really beautiful. We address mothers' issues and we also address the issues concerning children, because the main people who take care of children, especially in African homes, are the mothers. So let's come down to the conversation around sickle cell anemia. We hear about it all the time. And thankfully, the world will be celebrating this day or commemorating this day on the 19th of June. It happens every year. But because our show comes ahead, we want to give you all the info you need ahead of the day so that together we'll all see how we can make sickle cell matter, which is the theme for this year. So please tell our audience again what it means to be sickle celled.
So sickle cell disease basically is a condition that affects the parts of the blood that carries oxygen to parts of the body. Okay. So, and secondly is a genetic disease. That means the individual is born with it and inherits it from the parents. And is a lifelong condition. That means people who have sickle cell disease will tend to live with it for the rest of their lives. Generally, yes.
Wow. So people with sickle cell are going to be living with this condition for the rest of their lives. If you've got sickle cell and you're watching us right now, today we want to make you feel really special. We stand with you. We know what you're going through, and we want to say keep keeping on, okay? We'll be going for our first commercial break because now we understand what sickle cell is all about. When we return, we'll continue the conversation and get to find out how, Hydroxy urea affects people who have got sickle cell. Do stay tuned. And you're welcome back to the show. Just before we went on that first break, we were explaining what sickle cell anemia was. And our nurse here, Dinah, mentioned that it's a condition that you get to live with as you're born for the rest of your life. So it means that it's passed on from a parent to a child. And this brings me to the part of the conversation where we get to say we need to talk to parents about compatibility of their genotypes. We keep saying this over and over again, but new people keep watching. So I'd like you to speak to the issue around the various genotypes and the ones that will get you to have a child that has got, sickle cell, so that we advise and counsel people to look out for these things before they even get to meet at all.
Thank you so much. So within our blood, we have these red cells, and within the red cells are what we call hemoglobin. So these hemoglobins are inherited in pairs. So you pick one from each of your parents. So everybody has two. So ideally, whilst you are in your mother's womb, you make a type of baby hemoglobin, which we call hemoglobin F. As you are delivered from 4 months of age, you tend to leave all these baby hemoglobins and you start making what we call the hemoglobin A, which is the adult one and doesn't change. Okay. And so if you have parents who both have two normal hemoglobins, which are the A, then invariably the child is going to pick one from each parent, and this child is also going to get two normal hemoglobins. Now when you come to those of us that are blacks and where there's a lot of malaria, initially the change was for protection against malaria. So you tend to realize that in individuals, instead of having all the round and nice hemoglobin A, you realize that people, in addition to the normal hemoglobin, may make an abnormal hemoglobin, which may be S or C. So this is shaped like a sickle or a banana. Okay. So if you have an individual who has one of the normal ones and has one of the abnormal ones, such an individual is a carrier. Okay. You don't have sickle cell disease. So this can be either a male or a female. So when you come down to Ghana here, every 1 in 4 of us is a carrier of sickle cell.
Every 1 in 4?
Yes.
Of a Ghanaian is a carrier?
Yes.
So you're either AS or SC?
No, or AC.
Or AC?
Yes.
Okay.
So that is the carrier. That means you make normal hemoglobin and you make the abnormal ones. So it can be a male or a female. Because a lot of your hemoglobins are the normal ones, you don't show any signs of the disease. So the only way we get to know is when we test. So if it is a male or a female, they are very strong. They don't have any problems. Now the problem comes in when you have two carriers, either AS and AS or AS and AC, coming together to have a child. Then this couple can have a child with sickle cell disease because the child is going to pick one from each parent, so the child has two. Okay. So at every pregnancy, irrespective of the number of children you want to have, you can have a child that if the child picks the normal hemoglobin from the mother and the normal one from the father, this child is going to have two of the hemoglobin A's. So that child will be termed AA, and that there's no problem. You can also have a child that can pick the normal one from one parent and either the S or the C. This child becomes a carrier, either AS or AC. If you have the child that picks the abnormal copy, that is the S from both parents, then this child will have sickle cell SS. Or if the child picks the S from one parent and the C, then this child will have sickle cell type SC. So the type of sickle cell one has depends on what the parents have. So if one parent is AS, the other parent is AS, then the child that they'll have with sickle cell disease will be SS. If one parent is AS, the other parent is AC, then the type of sickle cell child will have, the child will have sickle cell type SC. So because these are, the carriers are what we call asymptomatic, they don't show any signs, you will need to test. And so when you test and you get to know, so the best time to test is when you're a baby. So we have something we call newborn screening. So when you drop today we can actually test and know what your status is, whether you have sickle cell or not. So going through primary school, if you have the opportunity as part of your school workup, either primary, secondary school, university, you will need to know your status. So as you get into the fertility age, as you get into falling in love, you already know your status. So I always say that love me, know my genotype or my phenotype. So as you admire me as being beautiful, you know I am a carrier. You also need to know what your status is, because if both of us are carriers, then we have a chance of bringing children who have sickle cell disease. So I always say that it's a disease that the power to prevent it lies in our hands. The decision you make today will affect the child that you bring to the world. So it's very important that we know our status, depending on which one. But it's unfortunate that in our part of the world, we tend to do this testing very late. When people have bought their wedding gowns, they've sent their invitation cards out, and then, boom, the church says go to do. Now, when the results come, who is explaining these results to them? Because if you're making a decision, you need somebody that will give you good, relevant information. Based on that, you'll be able to make an informed decision. So if somebody gives you a wrong information, you'll make a wrong decision. That is not to say that we are reinforcing that you are two carriers. Why do you want to go ahead? And no, there are options where you can do testing to separate the ones that don't have sickle cell, or people take chances. Whatever the outcome, that's why we have the clinics. We support them, we take these children into the clinic. But the most important thing is that know your status, make a decision based on that. And we as health professionals, based on the decision that you make, we are there to support you.
Wow, fantastic. I'm also happy with the fact that there are options, so you could test and then decide to pick this particular cell that is not, abnormal.
Yes.
And then, infuse it into the mother.
Yes.
Okay. But I'm sure that's not going to be friendly in terms of pricing.
Yes.
But I mean, if you go ahead to want to marry yourselves and you're ready to, take this path, okay, it's your choice. So now that we have an understanding about how the power lies in our hands, so we choose to have them or not. For some people, they didn't have this information, so they've already made their choices and they've brought forth children with sickle cell. Could you let us know the difference between the SS and the SC? What is the difference? Are they the same?
So they are basically all sickle cell, the types. So like I said, based on what your parents have will determine the type of sickle cell you have. There's even another type that is not very common. We call it S with a thalassemia. Okay. That is also, it's not common, but it's also a type of sickle cell disease.
So which of them is more, would I say, impacts the health of the human being?
So theoretically, we say if you are SS, then you have a severe type of the disease, okay, as compared to someone who is SC. Okay. But then in practice, we realize that we may get some people who may be SS, may be very quiet, okay, in terms of severity of the disease, and we can get somebody who is SC who may be having several things. But then theoretically, we say that the SS tend to have severe form of the disease as compared to the SC. Okay, yes. So that brings us to hydroxy urea. Some people on our social media pages were wondering if it was a condition and wanted to understand what it actually was. Well, over the top of my mind, I have an idea that it has to do with medication for people who have got sickle cell. But you are here and you can educate us better as to what hydroxy urea is. What is it? All right, so remember I said that people with sickle cell disease is a lifelong condition.
Yes.
So a lot more of the things that we do are not towards curing the disease, but reducing the impact of the disease.
Okay.
So the only way to cure is to do what we call a bone marrow transplant. Of course,
bone marrow transplant.
Yes, of course, that is very expensive and also comes with some danger. So we look for less dangerous options that can be available. Okay. And one of them is the use of hydroxy urea.
So it's a medication then?
Yes,
okay,
it's a medication. So fortunately, this medication is an old medication. It's not a new medication. Okay. So it's been around for almost 100 years. Okay. But we're using it to treat certain cancers. So it's a medicine that is used to treat cancer. But over the last 30 years, research made us to know that when used in smaller doses in persons with sickle cell disease, it improves their outcome. So how does it work? So remember when I was talking, I mentioned a baby hemoglobin called the hemoglobin F. So that is the hemoglobin you make whilst you are in your mother's womb till about 6 to a year of life. You don't need all that. That hemoglobin holds on to oxygen. So even if a child has inherited sickle cell disease in the womb, because of the abundance of that hemoglobin F, that child does not show any signs of the disease up to about the first 6 months of life. Now you don't need that hemoglobin again. It starts going down, and then if you haven't inherited sickle cell disease, then you start making the A.
Okay.
Now, if you have inherited sickle cell disease, as your F goes down, then your protection is lost. So you now start making the sickle ones. And so from 6 months onwards, the child can start showing signs of the disease. So we knew that if we're able to have high levels of this hemoglobin F, then the person has a better outcome.
Yeah.
And that is how hydroxy urea works.
Okay.
So hydroxy urea, when you take in hydroxy urea, what it makes is that it now tells the body to produce these baby hemoglobins that you've lost.
The F.
Yes, and as these F levels go up, so as about a year of life, you have less than 1% of this F. But as you start taking the hydroxy urea, these F levels go up. So as high numbers as they go up, the better the outcome. So what it does is that it makes the cells look round. So you have that condition in you, but it's going to make a lot of your cells look round. And once they look round and soft, they don't break down. So you realize that the individual's hemoglobin level that tends to be low starts going up. And then it is these abnormally shaped ones that look like the banana. They block the tubes that gives them the pain that they experience. So because these now have a lot of round ones which goes through the veins easily, the pain levels go down. And then your need for requiring a blood transfusion at shorter intervals also goes, because your blood level is very appreciating, and so you don't need. And then ultimately, because they're able to go to school, they're able to do a lot of daily activities which they couldn't do because of the impact of the disease, the overall quality of life is improved.
Wow, that's fantastic.
So of course you need to take it every day for it to work, because it has a short life in the individual. So you need to take it every day. So it's not medicine that you need to take for a few months and stop. It's going to be a lifelong. And let me add that it's not medication. It's quite a strong medication. So it's not medication you can just walk to the nearest pharmacy and just request, like Ghanaians request for paracetamol. No. because it's a strong medication, you need to visit your clinic, talk to doctors and nurses who have expertise in managing this medication, because whilst you are put on the medicine, we need to monitor with labs to make sure that this medicine is doing the work that it needs to do, and be able to recognize that if it is causing problems, whoever is monitoring it knows what to do.
Wow. I really like where we've gotten to in this conversation, but I have to go for another commercial break. When we return, we're going to be finding out from our nurse specialist what the government is doing about hydroxy urea for people living with sickle cell. Do not go away. We'll be right back. And you're welcome back to the show. Just before we went on the break, we were discussing hydroxy urea, and I was going to ask our specialist here what the government is doing about this medication, because if it's able to save the lives of people living with sickle cell, we'd like to know, is the government doing anything about it? The cost of this medication, which I'm very sure will not be friendly, and even if NHIS covers it. So I've got a lot of questions to ask you concerning the government and what kind of help you're getting, Sickle Cell Foundation of Ghana. So tell us, what is the government doing about hydroxyurea?
Okay, so when we started using hydroxyurea from my pediatric clinic way back in 2012. Okay. So this is about almost 9-10 years that we have been using.
And that's Kolibu?
Yes, pediatrics. Okay. So as at up to 2019, parents had to pay for the hydroxyurea.
Okay.
Yes, so it comes as a capsule, and each capsule ranges between 1 cedi 50 pesos to 3 cedis. And so because of financial issues, a lot of eligible patients could not go on it because parents could not sustain buying it. And like I said, because the half-life is very short, you can't say, okay, let me do 2 months and stop. You won't get any benefit. And so cost was one of the biggest challenge where we couldn't get a lot more children or patients to enjoy this medication or benefits. So in 2018, the government of Ghana signed a memorandum of understanding with a pharmaceutical company called Novartis. So I think the vice president was there, the minister of health, okay. In fact, all. And this was to ensure that patients with sickle cell disease get access to hydroxyurea. So in 2019, Novartis donated 6 million capsules of this.
6 million capsules?
Yes, of hydroxyurea.
Thank you very much, Novartis.
So thank you. Since 2019 till this August, patients who have been on hydroxyurea, especially those in Accra and a few sites, have not had to buy hydroxyurea. They've been getting free hydroxyurea to up to this August. Unfortunately, this August, that free hydroxyurea is getting finished.
Okay. And
the agreement was that as it's getting finished, the government will need to take over to still make sure that these children who have benefited, and in fact, it has really benefited you. So children who were missing school for the whole term because they had to be in hospital with pain, parents who were losing their jobs, parents who were leaving other children because one child was sick, have enjoyed. They've been pain-free, they have improved quality of life. So now, is money going to be a barrier for all these people to drop up, or for more to drop up because they cannot continue to enjoy this benefit? So within these 2 years, we're looking at, as we're enjoying these free ones, for us to put measures in place to ensure that patients continue to enjoy. Even if it is not free, how do we get it under the NHIS for it to cover, so that if I'm a card-bearing member and I'm on hydroxyurea, I can access? Or is it going to come under government subvention? So there were plans, deliberate plans. But it's unfortunate that by August, the last capsule will be issued. And wow. What happens to these patients? And so we are appealing to the government that MOU that was signed, we are appealing to them.
In fact, speak to them again.
It has appeared in manifestos, it has appeared in the budget. So please, we are here for us to walk the talk.
Okay.
That these, I have close to 1,000 children in my clinic alone at the Children's Block in Kolibu who are on this medication. And after August, I don't know how many will be able to continue to be on it. So we are appealing to the government that look at the impact this medication has had on these children and help sustain it. It will break my heart to see somebody walk to me and say that, do you know what, I can't continue to let my child be because I cannot buy it.
I cannot afford it after August.
Yes.
Wow. So she has made the appeal, and we do hope that you have heard and you're going to be able to come to their aid before August, so that once August passes, we know that there are plans already for the next batch of medication to, be brought to us. Or if it will be accepted under the NHIS, then that will also be another way of making it easier for a lot of parents and a lot of patients to live a better life. Okay, so you mentioned something about this medication being a very strong one, and it's not something you could just get over the counter. What do we need to know again about this medication? One, it's a strong one, you can't get it over the counter. I even read about it some time ago that it's a medication that if you're a woman who wants to give birth, you can't take it. Or if you're a man and you want to have a child, so you don't take it at that period. Could you clarify this for me? Is it something that really happens?
Okay, so every medication that is used to treat cancer, of course, Hydroxy is part of it, can affect a fetus.
Okay.
And even though we give very low doses to patients with sickle cell as compared to if we are treating certain cancers. So there are certain side effects that patients who are taking high doses of cancer medications may experience, like their hair loss and maybe darkening of the nails. We tend not to see much of that. But then, of course, so far as it's a cancer drug, you know that there's a risk that it can affect the fetus. So you don't want to take that chance. So what we do is that we tell the parents, so lucky I deal with children up to 15 years. But remember that after 12 years, even 10 years, a child can start menarche, can attain menarche. That's when they start menstruating. So once you start menstruating, or as a male, you start showing signs of the adolescent, what it means that you can impregnate a woman or you can get pregnant. So we start talking to them that this type of medication you are taking, you need to be careful with it so you don't get pregnant because it can affect. So if we realize the child is sexually active, we speak to the parents and we might have to consider family planning options for. Now when you are older and you want to get pregnant, your pregnancy has to be planned. Okay. So you can't just go and be pregnant. So what we do, fortunately, the medicine's effect does not last. So if I stop taking the medicine, today is Thursday, by a week today, if they take my blood, there will be not even a single trace of the medicine in my blood. It will be like I've never taken the medication. And that is why they need to take it every day. Because as soon as you take it, it works and the body clears it. So once you say, okay, I'm ready to have a child, we'll take you off the medication, allow you to get pregnant, go through your pregnancy. At this point, we'll offer you comprehensive care, which is handled by hematologists and obstetrician, just to make sure that you've gone through safe delivery, your breastfeeding, and then you go back. The same thing applies to a male. So we tell you that if you're having sexual intercourse, you need to wear a condom to prevent getting. But if you are married, you want to get your girlfriend or your wife pregnant, we'll take you off the medication. Like I said, within a short few days, it wears off. So you get your partner pregnant, and then you go back on the medication. Wow. And so it's very important that is why I said that you can't just walk. So even here in Accra, it is not every facility that is offering Hydroxy. Some facilities are running sickle cell clinics, but then they don't offer Hydroxy. There are certain facilities that don't even run a sickle cell clinic. And so what we are planning to do is to rope in more doctors and more nurses to be trained. So if I stay somewhere in Bronhafo region, my geographical location should not deprive me of getting access to Hydroxy, because maybe the doctor or the nurse in my region doesn't know how to manage Hydroxy. So we are training enough doctors, we are training enough nurses, so that, and we even have apps on phone apps that directs the doctor. So if the person's lab report is showing this way, this is how you are supposed to manage the medicine, either to stop or to do. So this is even making it easier. So we train you and we still give you things. And then of course you have the backup of those specialists who you can also come to from time to time if you run into problem. So that is what we are doing. So that everywhere the patient is and is taking the medication, we ensure that the medication is safe.
Awesome. So I just want us to reiterate the fact that some people are carriers. With hydroxy urea, someone who is a carrier, like somebody who's got AC, should the person be taking it?
So people who are AC and AS are carriers. They don't have sickle cell disease. They don't need to take the folic acid that we give them every day. They don't need to take hydroxy urea. In fact, the hydroxy urea, we offer it to those with severe disease. So if you have the SS, and then for those who are SC that we say it is not severe, for those that show severe forms of the disease, we will give. As until 2014, we had very strict rules for putting people on hydroxy urea. You should have had several episodes of pain. You should have had several episodes of transfusions. The child should have been about 5 years. After 2014, a lot of research has gone into the use of hydroxy urea. And so for now, as long as the child is SS, the type has sickle cell type SS, from 9 months of age, it is safe to start giving the child hydroxy urea because you don't want the hemoglobin F levels to drop so that the child will start showing the signs. But again, like I said, you will need to be talked to. You will need to be assessed, and then we'll do. So if you have sickle cell disease and SS, speak to your caregiver about hydroxy urea, that you've heard about this medicine, you want to know more about it. How can they help you to get onto the hydroxy urea?
Okay, that's fantastic. But I've got some information here for us, for all of us, because Father's Day is coming, and is this Sunday, and something really beautiful is being packaged for fathers here on eTVGhana, and it says Father's Day is here again, and eTVGhana is giving you the opportunity to celebrate achievements of our outstanding male health workers. You see, our health workers have really done so well, especially within COVID-19, and we want to be able to appreciate them. Do you know a male health worker who is doing something amazing in your community or at a hospital who deserves a pat on his back? Then submit a short story about him and why you think he is the best health worker. Send his name, his picture, the clinic or hospital where he works, or to our WhatsApp line on 020-2222-054, or call us on Men's Lounge. It comes on every Thursday on the 17th June. And the number to call on Men's Lounge is 055-5657-278. You could WhatsApp 020-2222-054 and share your story. If your story is selected, you stand the chance of winning fantastic prizes for you and the health worker. So not just for the health worker, for you who chose the health worker and also the health worker. The deadline for submission is Thursday, 17th, 2021 at 12 midnight. Terms and conditions apply. And the sponsors for this particular activity is Caveman Watches, Woodine, Summerhill Estate, Lotus Detox and Wellness Center, Mood Seasons Perfumery and Skincare. These people are all the sponsors for this particular package. And when we return, I'm going to be telling you about Lotus Wellness Center. I went there and the experience was wow. Believe you me. We'll go for a quick commercial break. When we return, the conversation continues. But if you've got any kind of question that you want to ask us, feel free to reach out to us on our social media page, Facebook especially, at e.tvghana, or when we open the phone lines on the screen, please give us a call and ask us any question you want to around hydroxy urea. Do not go away. Before we went on the break, I told you that I went to Lotus Wellness Center and the experience was fantastic. So you really need to engage to get that health worker to go there, and even yourself. Because when you get there, you get to understand in totality what is happening to you. They give you a full screening from head to toe and give you advice as to what to do to keep yourself healthy. I have another message here from Woodine, and it says, this Father's Day, show love and appreciation to your father and father figures with Woodine's variety of beautiful and specially designed shirts. Let your fathers and father figures stand out in our exquisite styled shirts. Wow. Spend 200 Ghana cedis or more at any Woodine retail shop nationwide and get a lovely gift to make the occasion more memorable. Offer ends on 20th June, 20th June, 20th June. Woodine Le Créateur. Woodine shop locations are Accra Mall, ANC Mall, Junction Mall, Osu Oxford Street, High Street, City Car Park Building. In Kumasi, Woodine shops can be found at Kumasi City Mall and Edum Unicorn House. In Cape Coast, it's in the PAT or the PAT building near Kingsway. In Takoradi, near Market Circle, Takoradi for our Market Circle, Ninchen. Koforidua in Antarctic Plaza building, and in the PAT or PAT building in Sunyani. So you really need to get that beautiful shirt for that father or father figure of yours from Woodine. And I said we're going to open the phone line, so please, the numbers are right now on your screen. You could call us and ask us any question or make a contribution if you've used Hydroxy Urea before and you'd like to let people know how it really works and how it made you feel. So let's come back to you now, our specialist. I would like you to tell us exactly how Sickle Cell Foundation of Ghana, or even how you are all going to, commemorate the World Sickle Cell Day that is coming up over the weekend.
So the 19th of June every year, so since 2008 that it was declared as a day set aside to remember persons with sickle cell disease. So every year it is observed. So in the last 3 to 4 years, what the Sickle Cell Foundation of Ghana and all NGOs that are related to sickle cell disease we do is to do media, create awareness about sickle cell disease on various angles, get tested, take your child to clinic. And so this year, we are talking about Hydroxy Urea. We are creating awareness about Hydroxy Urea, that it is there, people need to go forward and assess it. So every year we have annual lectures. So we select a
Please
topic.
hold that thought. I'm just told right now that we have our first caller. Hello? Hello, please, we can't hear you. Yes. Please, what's your name and where are you calling us from?
My name is Bamfo. I'm calling from Adenta.
Okay, Bamfo from Adenta. Please share your comments or your views.
I'm having one sickle patient in my house. But at times, when something hits, then the hand will raise. Just like that, the hand will raise.
Okay, so Ness, could you address this? When something hits where? Something hits the hand?
No. When something, a horn, a car horn or anything that.
Okay, when they hear the sound, then they will raise their hand.
Yes, when you hear sound.
Okay.
Then they let this, how do you call it? The hand will just raise up for some minutes. Then before the hand will come down.
Wow. Okay, so please, she's going to address that right away. Or would you want to ask him any further question?
Only that question I wanted to ask.
Okay, all right.
What comes?
So I want to find out if the child is being followed up at any sickle cell clinic.
Is the child being followed up at any sickle cell clinic?
Yeah, he has gone to 37.
37?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's where he attends the clinic. And
Yes.
is the child, what type of sickle cell does the child have? Is he SS or SC?
So, again, pardon?
Is the child SS or SC?
Is the child SS or SC?
SS.
SS, okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, and how old is this child, please, if I may?
It's about 7 years.
Okay.
So what I would want you to do is, if you hear sounds and you have this jerky movement, it could be anything. So what I would say is that he can video it. when it happens, and then take the child to hospital. So maybe by the time you go and see your clinician, that might not be happening. But when it happens, just take a short video, and that will help your clinician understand. The child needs to be seen, and father needs to describe this to the doctor, so we can investigate what is going, because a lot of things could cause one person to have these jerky movements to sound, but then he needs the doctor to assess this child properly.
Thank you. So Bamfo, did you get what she said? So you
Yes,
need to
I've heard it.
try and film the child, okay? Whenever the sound happens, film the child
Okay.
and show the video to the doctor when you go, okay?
Okay.
We
Okay,
wish
thank you
all
very
the
much.
best, okay?
Bye-bye.
And greetings to
Bye.
the child too. Bye. All right, so please conclude on what is going to be happening, you know, around World Sickle Cell Day. Already you've mentioned the fact that we are amplifying information around hydroxy urea, the use of it. So anything else again?
So this is the theme for the year, is
Okay.
creating awareness about hydroxy. So before COVID came in, we would have converged at a very big place. So it would be patients, it would be caregivers, people of the community who are interested, and then we'll share all these ideas. But because of COVID, we will do this via a webinar. So we've shared the link on our various social media platforms for people, and it is open to the public. So you just need to click on it, register, and this is going to happen on Friday, the 18th of June at 5 p.m. But this is via a webinar. It is not going to be in person.
Okay,
Yes.
fantastic. Those of you who are watching us on Facebook, you are itching for me to acknowledge you, and I'm going to do that right away. Abbas, I see you. The moment we signed on, Abbas showed up and started giving us his hand clap. Thank you very much, Abbas, for tuning in on Facebook to get to watch us. And I'm seeing so many waves from across Africa today, and I'm so happy about it. I see from Ethiopia. I've never had a wave from Ethiopia before, so I'm excited about this. I'm seeing a wave from Togo, as usual, from Cameroon, from Nigeria, from Burkina Faso. I'm seeing a wave from Egypt. I'm seeing a wave from Casablanca. Thank you so much for tuning in. And let me just mention a few of us who are also waving at us here in Ghana. And you say you are from Bolga and you are called Aminatu. Amina, thank you very much for sending your wave. I see someone else. Let me look for a different region. From the central region, you said your name is Abba. Abba, thank you so much for tuning in. And another region, I see you from Tamale. Thank you so much. I see from Volta region, from Sekendi, Takoradi, the Teen City. Thank you so much for tuning in. And so many of you who have tried to wave at us. We really appreciate you for joining the conversation. And it does not end here at all. Please, it continues on social media. If you have further questions, do ask them and we'll let our specialists get to know about it and we'll give you your responses. And for you, Bamfo, we wish your baby the best, and that if you get to film it, we'll be able to find out, or the specialists will be able to find out whatever it is happening to your child. This show is broadcast every Wednesday at 8 p.m. on eTVGhana and also on Facebook. However, we have a repeat broadcast on Saturday at 12 noon. If you missed it, that's the chance for you to get to watch it. And it's also uploaded on YouTube tomorrow. So you get to watch it on YouTube as well. So do not say you never got the chance to watch African Women's Voices show, because we've made it very easy for you to always watch us. I want to thank my sponsors once again. I say thank you. God bless you for sponsoring us. And those of you who want to join the sponsors, fine, please join us. Our Fariwa Styles, thank you.